Hey everyone, Brett Wallace, your Fort Bend, Texas realtor. Wanted to talk to you for a moment about the 6 tips to getting your home ready to sell. Okay, step number 1, declutter, depersonalize. So what I mean by declutter, if you have a little bit of assorted stuff all throughout the house, box it up, label it good, right? You're gonna move anyway. Put it in the garage or get a mini storage depending on how much clutter you have, right? So declutter, depersonalize. If you have family photos, I get it, the canvas ones, they're super cute, that's cool. Refrigerator, take some of the magnets off, just less busy, right? Let's not distract the buyers walking our home. If you have a wall full of crosses, maybe do that one and fix the pinholes. Just stuff like that. Nothing wrong. I have religious beliefs myself, but just not everybody might have the same one, so it might be off-putting for one or the other. But not most buyers, but some. It's just better to depersonalize and declutter and keep it as much of a blank slate so that the buyer can imagine what their stuff and their belongings and their personal decor and touches are going to look like when they get the home. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, curb appeal, curb appeal, curb appeal, right? Fresh mulch goes a long way and it's very cheap, and you can do that yourself, or you can have your landscapers do it. The yard being, fertilized throughout the winter. Most people come on the market March, April, May, June, put some pre-fertilization or winter stuff, things that'll help it come in really, really good and not splotchy with brown, brown and dead and all that stuff. So try to keep your grass looking as good as you can, edged up, low cut, or, cut well, right? Don't have to be low like a golf course, but, have your grass, have your bushes, your flowers, whatever you have. Mulch really looks good. It smells fresh. You can tell when it's been done recently. So I would do that like the week before you do pictures. So curb appeal, pressure washing also goes a long way. Pressure washing some homes, like the hardy plank, especially for high wind areas and areas that have a lot of grasses and pollen and all that junk. Looks like a fresh coat of paint sometimes after you pressure wash, and fences too. So that's some labor intensive stuff, but it's not cost prohibitive, right? But it'll really freshen up the home. And the first impression, I firmly believe that a home is sold in the first 10 to 15 seconds of a buyer being on the property, and that includes the walk up, the entry when you open the front door and you see what the home looks like, the first impression. 3, you're going to want to clean, including odor. If there's pet odor, that's very off-putting, especially since people are so aware these days of allergens and indoor allergens. New air filters, if you have a media filter, do that in the attic. If you just have the regular return air filters, do that too. But clean, a very clean home that smells fresh and clean, not that smells like something's being covered up clean, like the all the scented stuff or air wicks or stuff like that, like a real eliminate odor type of clean. That is very good to start with when someone walks in. Something else I would say, step 4, aesthetics and eyesore abatement. If you have sheetrock that's punctured or blinds that are all messed up, just things that are not super expensive, but you don't want people's eyes to fixate on something that could be easily fixed and that they're going to notice anyway. So stuff that's, I'm talking under 50, under $100 each type thing. Try to minimize the eyesores and the aesthetics and that type stuff, because that lets the buyer know, like, hey, if they're not even worried about the stuff that I can see visibly on the walls or on the floor or on the counter in the kitchen, what's the maintenance going on behind the walls, and with the mechanicals? Like, what are they doing? If they're not upkeeping what I can see, how are they upkeeping the things I can't see? Okay. Next step, and then I think this is the best bang for the buck for anything. Now, if you've had your home painted, interior painted, I'm talking about in the last year or 2, or you had it done with a high quality like Sherwin-Williams emerald or something that's eggshell or satin based, that's nice. But if you have typical builder flat paint and it's been 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, repainting the interior of your home, and the trim, especially like all the flooring and the doors, crown molding, if you have that, like the trim really pops when you have that glossy white oil-based paint. But repainting the interior can be one of the best dollar effective improvements you can do when about to come on the market, when you're about to list it. You want to consult with someone about what color, to make sure it matches the tones. Some people do an accent wall, but to make sure your flooring and the overall palette of everything that's going on in the home blends well with with the paint. A lot of people are doing the cooler neutrals versus the warmer neutrals of 5 and 10 years ago. So a cool neutral is going to be kind of agreeable gray, repose gray. You can go on Sherwin-Williams website and kind of look at the most popular colors. Something that's very, very pleasant to the eye, that's neutral, but not the browns and the oranges, but a little bit in the gray or light gray side. That's kind of more current and more modern. So those are the 5 steps. The last step, and probably something you're going to have to do, the most important thing to do, is consult a professional real estate agent. And you will want them to come out to the home and do a pre-listing appointment with you and go over some of these things and ask them the things that I just mentioned. Your house might be perfect. It might not be. You might need 1 or 2 of those steps, and you might need all 5 of those hints and tips, right? So consult with a real estate agent, have them come to the house, and prioritize the things that will carry you the furthest for the least. You don't want to start ripping out countertops and cabinets and spending 15 grand for something the buyer that eventually buys your home might do that themselves because they have something specific they want to do. So we're trying to do the most cost-effective things to prevent anybody from being turned off and keep things as neutral as possible. So you're going to want to consult with your real estate agent. Every market is different. You don't want to put in too much money, especially right before you list it. At least if you would have done those improvements and you did them for 5-7 years you lived with them, you got to enjoy and capitalize on that expenditure and enjoy those improvements. But for right before you're listing, don't do anything too crazy, especially dollar-wise, depending on your market. Price and condition sell homes. So I firmly believe if it's not a turnoff, let's get that house priced $15,000 better. If it's odor or eyesore or it's going to have to be addressed anyway, then yeah, maybe do that. But just not anything too specific and too costly. You might not recoup it, right? So those are my best tips for you people that are asking, what do I do to get my home ready for the market? Those are very, very common steps, something that'll be appreciated by most markets and most buyers. So, hey, if you have any questions about that, please leave a comment below. Subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much. My website's brettwallace.com. All my contact info's there. Reach out to me anytime to talk about this or anything else. If you'd like to see me discuss anything else in a video, hit me a message and let me know what you like, and I'll try to get a video ready for it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.